Scene Mom says, welcome to the new podcast from former Phoenix radio host Danny Cutler. Each week, bringing you independent music, industry news, the occasional interview, and other fun segments. Let's get to it. Scene Mom says hello and welcome to episode 85. I'm Danny, your host and Scene Mom. And as always, I am so glad you've joined me. I hope you're all doing so well. And if you're not in the Southwest, I hope you survived the storm last week. We had a salt delivery shortage, so I've been stuck on my hill this week. My neighbor, unfortunately, tested it out and slid right down. Very grateful I don't have to go anywhere and can work from home. And I think this weekend we have more snow coming. So I'm 2.5 years in, finally getting a taste of a New England, Massachusetts winter. All right. So this week on the show, I have part 2 of the interview that I had with my friend Mikey Z. But before we get to that, I can finally fill you in on the super duper secret announcement that I've been sitting on for many months. Earlier this week, we announced a new music festival in the north central Massachusetts area called Montapalooza. I have been scheming with my town's Parks and Rec department, local event TV station Montachusett TV, my friend Franco at Soundbites Events, and we also received some grant money from the Massachusetts Cultural Council. So this is what it is. It is an outdoor, community-focused music festival going to celebrate artists from the north central Massachusetts region, the state, and all over New England. It's happening on Saturday, May 30th. Oh, and a rain date of the 31st, which is a whole new concept for this desert reject. And it's going to be an all-day festival with 2 stages of music, food, vendors. We are announcing the lineup, and tickets will go on sale Friday, which is today if you're listening, because I got the show out a little late. It's been crazy preparing for these announcements. So if you're listening now, you can go and get your tickets and learn all about it. We're still putting some things together, but you can go and find Montapalooza on Facebook and Instagram and get all of the info there. We do hope to make it a yearly festival and expand to bring in musicians from all over the country, but keeping the main focus on New England and specifically the Montachusett region of Massachusetts. So my dear Arizona artist friends who are listening, keep in touch because I've already got some ideas brewing for next year. All right, so now let's get to my second part of my very informative interview that I had with Michael Zimmerlich. He's been in the music business for nearly 20 years, and I met him when he was running 80/20 Records. That's evolved into Omelet Prevail, which is a creative management service serving music, pop culture, and lifestyle brands. And he also hosts the weekly Creatives Prevail podcast, which takes an in-depth look into the origin stories of creators, their representatives, founders, and marketers. No music again this week because I wanted the focus to fully be on the interview because Mike always has such great insight and a different perspective on things, and we just have fun chatting. So we have been talking about things that you can do this year to get more eyes and ears on your music, and this part is going to cover more of the business side of things. So I hope you enjoy. Well, let's talk about let's
talk about all about me now.
Yeah, let's talk all about you and your thoughts on this. So another part of the music industry that musicians mostly hate unless they have a little bit of a business mind with them is running the business part of it, right? Mike, what are some things that indie artists can do to help diversify and be seen in other ways in a business model sense? Am I framing this right?
Sure. We'll go with one of them is diversifying revenue streams. I'm going to start with a business aspect first, since we talk about a lot of the promotion side, and I have some promotional aspects as well we can talk about. Yeah. I think diversification in general, and I will also say for marketing as well, you should also diversify. And what I mean by diversifying for marketing is don't rely on one social media platform for your promotion or what you're putting the most effort into. Because if they change the algorithm tomorrow or the whole site decides, shuts down for whatever reason, there you go. There's a reason why there's a saying called MySpace artists, where the artists, all they did was go on MySpace, promote MySpace, and when MySpace went the way of the dodo, they did too. And
Yeah.
that's happened time and time again. We've seen this. This is history repeating. Vine was another one. Like how many Vine creators did not transcend because they only focused on Vine.
Hmm.
So this will happen again at some point. Who
Yep.
knows what that will be? It could be TikTok, it could be Instagram, who knows? But right now there's no indication yet of what that is, but always be aware of those things. Not to mention for the fact that you're going to hit different audiences depending upon the platform that you're on. So diversification is a big one. And I will also mention this too with revenue streams, meaning you shouldn't be doubling down on just one revenue stream, meaning all on streaming in general, music streaming specifically, or all on merchandise or touring or playing shows. You want to make sure that you have a wide range of ways that you can make money utilizing your craft. So the reason why I want to bring that up specifically is because we are especially for 2026, we're in an interesting time with music streaming because especially with the popularity of AI songs coming out, right? We're seeing now a massive influx of songs, like almost double. It's going to be double or triple of how much is being done even now.
Yeah.
And I'm being conservative with that
Yeah.
number. When it comes to streaming, most of the streaming platforms, it's usually a revenue pool that gets shared. So obviously, the more music that's out there, the thinner the pool is going to get. This can potentially be an inherent problem where it's now a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, I think for now it's okay, but this can go where they're trying to go. And platforms I know right now are trying to navigate and try to figure these things out. I know Spotify is trying to do some things to mitigate this. Bandcamp just announced as of this recording a few days ago that they are banning AI completely on their platform. So there are things that are being done, but I would not rely on everybody else to figure those things out.
Yeah.
Rely on yourself to figure these things out and see what the opportunities are that are out there that you can also make money for doing what you love.
Yeah. The thing is too about the AI part in music. I mean, like I said earlier, people don't know. They're going to stream whatever sounds good to them. And they don't,
Mhm.
they just can't. I see a lot of people who grumble and are like, it's so easy to tell if something's AI versus real. And it's like, well, that's getting harder and harder to see, especially if you're talking about the average person. Musicians can probably pick it out. Yes, they've got an ear to figure
If
that
it,
out. So they're more
if it
likely.
sounds good, it sounds good. And honestly, how many people are listening to music in the background while they're getting work done or their
Exactly.
homework? They're just vibing at
Yeah.
that point, like straight up. They're just vibing.
Right.
So they even care if it's an AI, create a song? Most of them are not.
Right.
Honestly, they're just gonna be like, oh, this is a cool song. I'm gonna be vibing to it. They're just looking for something to play in the background that's gonna keep them in a certain particular mood, whatever it is, a
Right.
relaxed
So
mood,
yeah.
an
So
energized mood. That's what they're all ultimately looking for when they're listening to music in that particular way.
right. And it's not, and yeah, and so you can't rely on the listener to help you out with that. So you have
Yep.
to, the listeners and the fans, you have to rely on things like what Bandcamp is trying to do. And you also have to rely on your music and having those multiple streams, like you said, or
Mhm.
streams of income, not streaming, but you should be on every streaming service. Yes.
So the next one is going to flip the whole script and how you can use AI to your advantage.
Gasp.
I know, shocking.
I mean, all I do is talk about how AI is going to kill us all. So let's hear what you got, Mike.
So, I mean, first things first, if you're not already using what's called LLM or essentially like an equivalent of a chat GPT or a Grok, whatever you want to call it,
Large
there,
language
large language model.
model.
So,
That's it.
yep, there is so much that you can do with that technology. It's a massive time saver. And yes, they are I understand the ethics that are involved with this. There are ways you can use these tools ethically.
Mhm.
And everyone's comfortability level is going to change too in something like this. And I understand that. And you have to figure out for yourself on where comfortability level is on this. But also at the same token, being open to what these possibilities are, because the bottom line is it's out there and people are using it. And they are now using a tool that's giving them a massive advantage.
Yeah.
It's same thing is true with social media. How many people like talk about again, we always go back to social media, but how many people talk about social media and the destructive nature that it can have and the ethical aspects of social media in general, right?
Mhm.
But it's undeniably the most powerful marketing tool ever to be created in the existence of human civilization.
You're right.
That's, you know what I mean? So you could choose not to, and that's okay, but you're also now missing this massive tool that so many other people are now utilizing to be able to promote their work.
Yeah.
Same thing is true with AI in this case scenario, right? Is that yes, there are ethical implications that are involved, but at the same token, you can use it for an infinite number of possibilities. Developing marketing strategies, helping you with with copy and all these different types of things. And you don't have to necessarily use it verbatim, but it does help with idea generation for sure,
Yeah.
and does make research a lot faster too. And
Yeah.
that's what I use it for. I use it for those purposes. I also give it things that I've written already and then use that as a base point. So it's my work and my work alone that having it use to then help me with other things.
Yeah.
I use it all the time for the podcast. It helps me with my
I mean,
podcast descriptions.
as you know, my real beef with AI is completely creating music, completely creating back, really cutting into the art and taking over the art. That's where my red flags go up. That's where my
Sure. And that's totally fine.
ends.
And some people are okay with it being fully AI and some people are not. And
Yeah.
that's totally fine too. Some people want no AI in their songs at all. And some people are okay with that. And that's totally fine too. But there's also other applications you can do that as well.
Right.
Think about demos,
Yeah.
right? Instead of spending so much time throwing together a demo, you can use AI to get it done in a fraction of the time to get the sound that you're looking for. And
Yeah.
then sending out saying, hey, instead of using other songs for reference, you're like, this is actually the vibe that I'm like, what the sound I'm going for, and then using it strictly as a demo. It doesn't get released anywhere
Or
else.
to
Just
play
getting your
on
ideas across.
that, you could plug it in to find the best clip of your music.
Yeah,
You can plug it in and find the best clip of your music that you could use for that demo without it being generated by AI. It's just listening and telling you, like, this would be a great clip for social media, or this would be, this is the hook that you should use for this, or whatever. So it's still your original work. It's just helping you find what you need to find to create that content to get out there.
exactly. And I mean that's the thing is that if you to get depending upon your comfortability level, but you can use it for idea generation if you wanted to. You can use it for research. There's a lot of things that can be done that will save you so much time in doing those different types of things. And again, time is money. I mean, time is probably the most precious commodity you have.
Yeah.
So that's
Use
the
it wisely.
use it wisely. Exactly. So that's the positive aspect of AI.
I tell you though, you reminded me of a story that I did because I do my little good news segment at the end of my shows. And there was one that I did that was really good. There was a hip hop artist. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he had lost his voice from an illness, and he was able to use AI to reconstruct his voice to get a new track
Wow.
out there. So, I mean,
That's amazing.
those are the cool things that I love about AI. Just generating song after song after song so that you can flood the streaming services with music and take it over. That's what the streaming services and like Bandcamp, that's what they're trying to control and stop. There are useful reasons for it. That's why I'm not, 100% like anti AI.
It's a scale, right, of comfortability level. It reminds me actually a story. In fact, I talked to somebody earlier this week, in fact, and this person is 79 years old, and he's a visual artist. He's been a visual artist specifically in pop surrealism, and he's been doing this as a profession for, I think he said, like over 60 years. 60 years.
Wow.
So let that sink in for a second. 60 years. He's basically practically blind in one eye. And he uses AI like vehemently. Like he takes his existing work. He has hundreds of designs he's done over the decades. And then he uses that and then puts it into an AI video to help promote his artwork.
Oh, okay.
And he's using GPT and others like it to help him do research into how I can do better job of promoting my artwork and doing these things. This is a 79-year-old artist, visual artist, not even like musician, visual artist, a pop surrealism artist, that's using AI technology right now.
Yeah.
And this is somebody that is already benefiting from this. Things that he would not be able to do like on his own.
Right. Yeah. You're right. There are good things about it. Just,
And then
with great power
comes great responsibility. Yeah, so we want to go Spider-Man here. We're gonna go that route.
It's true though.
All right, so I have a third thing here that is the now going back to I liked where you did where you summed everything up with something core and basic, which is collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do the same thing here and say focusing on your craft. Sometimes we talk so much about all the external factors, right? We talk about social media, streaming, and all these things. And we need to talk more about the core, which is the craft itself. And let me clarify what that is that the craft is, of course, your musicianship, but it's more than just that. It's also is what you are producing. And I mean, across the board. So when I talk about your craft, I'm talking about not only just the music, I'm also talking about the recording. I'm also talking about the content that's supporting your brand. So, and that's everything from short form videos to, your graphics that you're using, your photo. I mean, all those things that I consider that all part of your craft and really focusing in on that too, because more now than ever, you have to do things that are going to make yourself stand out. How are you going to stand out amongst everything else that's out there? Because the majority of it is, unfortunately, I'm gonna say is not good quality. It's just not.
Slop,
So
I believe, is the word of the
yeah,
year.
AI slop. Yeah, so slop, right? So you're competing against. At the end of the day, that's what you're truly competing against. And the reason why I'm saying it's all the above because you can have the best music ever, but if it's not reaching the right people, people are not getting it. They're like, I don't. It's not for me. It's not resonating with me, or you're just not doing good, not getting it out there enough to get people's attention to what it is. It doesn't matter at the end of the day then. I mean, you can, like, if that's what you love to do and just want to make, good, really good music, but could care less who listens to it, that's great too.
Yeah.
But if you care about who's actually listening to it, you also have to make sure you're putting yourself in the mindset of who's actually going to like this. Who am I really, who's this for besides
Right.
just myself?
Yeah.
And how I'm going to get them to pay attention to what I am doing specifically when there is an infinite supply of other aspects that are out there that is going to grab their attention.
It is an oversaturated content online world out there. But I also feel like there's a pendulum effect happening. I feel like the more we talk about it, good or bad, talking about it, and the more that we hear about what companies, AI specific companies are trying to do, on my show this past week or 2 weeks ago, depending on when this show airs, I talked about how AI podcasts are extremely popular and starting to flood the market, and that there are about 400,000 people subscribed to AI podcasts, whether they know it or not. And these are, and the type of podcasts are like weather podcasts, like a weather update for the day. So it's like, maybe a 5-minute podcast, but yeah, sure. All AI, things like that. Real simple things. I lost my train of thought. See, this is why I have a script. This is why I do a script every week.
No, but you're right. Is that you have a competition even on the podcast?
I know it was the pendulum. The pendulum. I got that.
Pendulum.
So I think a lot of people are starting to get frustrated by it. And when we talk about the lack of wanting to make sure that we're supporting independent artists of any type across the board, not just musicians, just independent, the pendulum's going to swing back because I think people online are either, number one, they're just going to leave social media because they're just sick of all the slop. Two, they're going to start searching for that real content. They're going to search for it because they want something that they can actually connect with. And I'm sorry, until there's just no way that any type of AI can give you that personal connection. You can't put emotion in AI. You can't. You need a person for that. So people are going to start seeking that out, I think, and the pendulum's going to start swinging back a little bit. I don't know how long it's going to take because 2025 was just like a breakout year for all kinds of AI technology. I mean, it just was like boom, and you could barely keep up with it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think this year is going to be a lot more of the catching up part with streaming companies like Bandcamp saying, hey, we're going to crack down on this. Spotify's trying. I guess. I don't know if they really want to try, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah. So
neither here nor there. The thing too, though, is that if you think about it, right, and it's this again, when I provide this as not necessarily as a devil's advocate, but just a different frame of mind.
sure.
People mention that, oh, this is different than it has been in the past. I'm like, yes, there are differences, but if you think about it, right, there was a time when we had no social media at all. There was a time we had no mobile phones, not to the where, no smartphones. Smartphones really, like, to the where it is now, only existed as long as I've been in the music industry, which is crazy to think about. It's only been, right, 18 years?
Yeah.
iPhone came out in 2007.
Yeah.
19, pretty much like around 19 years now. Okay. So 19 years. That's for, that's really actually not that long of a period of time. If you think about it, that's for smartphones.
Right. No, I get it. It's
Specifically social media, right? That was basically formed in the early to mid 2000s, essentially, was when it really started taking off, right? There was a time before all that. There was a time even pre-internet. And what was keeping our attention then?
Yeah.
There were different things that were keeping our attention then.
Yeah. I mean, we had TV, we had radio.
TV, radio, newspapers, magazines.
Yeah. They did say that video was going to kill the radio star. All these new advances, as things advanced.
Right.
Everyone always like, it's going to kill this, and it hasn't.
No, it will exist in a different way. People still prefer to go out and to do things. People still will go out and want to go to a concert. And also, when I talk about concert, I'm talking about whatever the latest music is and latest trends are, and classical. People will still want to go out and listen to classical music.
Yes.
Right. But is everybody doing that now? Of course not.
Right.
But it does exist in some form or fashion. So it's going to adapt and to change, and that's human society. And yes, this is a little bit more unprecedented because of how quickly this is happening, and how broadly it's impacting everyone. Mm-hmm. That's the big difference here. So I understand that's what makes it unique in comparison to some other things that took a lot longer for it to change and for people to adapt. This is happening a lot quicker. But that's when also a lot of interesting things can happen too. I always will believe in this, good or bad, is that at the end of the day, change forces people to change their behaviors. And I think that adapt, and that creates all kinds of new opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, there is that. And then, I mean, we don't have to go too deep in this, but then there's the not political side of it, but the environmental impacts.
Yes.
I mean, data centers are going up so fast everywhere, and water's a concern, so it's like, we've never had these kinds of, I don't know, we hear it every day, unprecedented, it's just like, it's completely,
of course, everything is unprecedented. Everything is like new. Yeah, everything is new from what happened before. So it's so funny you mentioned that.
Good point. Yeah, it's kind of funny. And the word gets burned out really fast, but the rate, I will say that the rate that everything is advancing, it's like the AI technology is advancing so fast that the data centers can barely keep up. And now there's some pushback there as well from communities, because they don't want it. And, however you feel about it, that's just what's happening. So it's going to be a very interesting year to see where all that goes, and if it continues to have the same kind of push, or if it's going to level out, or if it's going to go maybe backward a little bit. I don't think that one will happen, but I think there's going to be some leveling out.
Mm-hmm. Always is. Whenever you have a massive jump in technology, everyone jumps on it for all kinds of different reasons, and then all of a sudden it will start leveling out. Yeah. The internet, that's why there's the .com bubble.
That is true. Ooh, do you think there's an AI bubble?
Oh yeah, everyone knows it. No question.
How do you think that would affect us if it burst?
Mostly
the market.
It'll impact the market for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that there's a bubble that's happening right now in AI. So yeah, I mean, will that bubble burst or come down? Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? But is there a bubble right now? No question. Everyone's like comparing it to the .com era, as far as that, where you throw AI into anything, whether it's a good idea or not, and and people are jumping on it. So yeah, there's no question in my mind. Now, will that bubble ever burst, or how that's going to impact the market?
Remains to be seen.
it definitely remains to be seen, but that definitely that definitely is a thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, those were very good thoughts on the music industry, I think. Like, I always appreciate your insight. And so I hope everybody listening appreciates it as well, because I mean, it's a hard thing for musicians to think about. They just want to create, they just want to do their thing. If you want to get anywhere, it's a business like any other, and you have to run it.
I say this over and over and over again, Danny. You know I say this all the time, and I'm going to repeat it again just in case if you need that reminder or have not heard me talk about this before. But as a professional artist, your job is to get attention. That is your job.
Yep.
Your job is to get attention. You're just doing it through music.
It's true.
But that's your job. At the end of the day, is getting people's attention. So if you're a professional artist, that is your job to do that. And you can make music for yourself, or you can put it out there, and it doesn't matter who listens to it. You're doing it for yourself. That's awesome. I actually applaud people that go that route and use it as a way to express themselves without necessarily putting in the business aspect into it. Even as a business, though, I'll get even more specific. There are so many ways that you can make money making music. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're reaching out to people to pay attention to your original works. There's so many other ways you can do that too. So that's also a different thing. You can do songwriting, you can do producing work. There's all kinds of stuff out there that you can do that you can make money specifically in the music industry. It does not necessarily have to mean creating your own original music for people to listen to. But if you want to do that and want to make money doing so, you have to get people's attention.
Yep.
Have to.
I think that's with any business. It doesn't even have to be music.
Yes. Any business. If nobody knows what you do or who you are, you're not going to make any money.
Exactly. It's so simple, Michael.
So you have to put yourself, you have to promote yourself. But again, but more specifically, when it comes to creating something and you want people to consume it, you have to get the word out there. You have to showcase your work and utilize all the tools that are available to you as much as humanly possible.
Yeah. Very good advice, Mike. How can people go and find your show and subscribe to it?
Absolutely. So to find the show, it's called Creatives Prevail. It's exactly how it sounds. And literally at Creatives Prevail on pretty much every platform. Instagram, TikTok is where we're most active. And of course, now onto YouTube. So everything is at Creatives Prevail.
Excellent. Well, I hope our listeners they got an earful, that's for sure. But I hope they got some good things to think about in how they want to move forward in 2026 with their art, with their music, promoting themselves and making sure that they can be heard and seen. And you guys reach out to Mike anytime. Just flood him with emails and
please do.
Everything. And I mean, I
like talking to people.
He has helped me so much over the years, especially, I mean, we met because of my time with KWSS, and it's just been an amazing partnership ever since, because we both have the same kind of thinking. We kind of tangent every now and then, but like the goal is the same and how we want to get there is the same, but we have our own ways but it comes together. We collaborate well, I guess is the way.
Always. Yep.
And you have to come back and visit again.
I will.
Though I'll be out in Phoenix in April. So
that's right. Now it's going to be exciting.
Because I'm coming out for Mesa Music Festival. So that'll be good to see you. All right, Mike. Well, I'm so glad that you joined me on my show and started me off on my intention for 2026 to have a guest every month.
My pleasure.
You've been listening to the Scene Mom Says podcast. Intro, outro music is Look Good for the Radio by Fairy Bones. Learn more about Danny and the show at dannycutler.com.